Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the instant match reaction. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Everton 0. Somewhat disappointing result, really, in a way. We weathered the first 20 minutes. We got into the game, had two absolute huge chances to get in the lead in the first half, and then second half. A Jordan Pickford mistake has led to a penalty, and obviously they've took the game away from us. I think it showed again, sadly, where we are with the team. We can defend, but against better teams, we can't hold out. We simply just can't hold out in these games, certainly if there are mistakes. And the last 4 of the last 5 goals have all been mistakes. And that's what's not massive mistakes, but just little mistakes in and obviously last week against a good attacking side, and this week against a good attacking side. It's not doom and gloom. I'm not sitting here absolutely fuming at it. I don't think a lot of people would have expected us to get much today, and obviously following on from the first 20 minutes, I don't think a lot of people would have expected us to get much, but we rode out the storm. We got into the game, we started using our game plan a bit more, and we had, as I said, the chance for Gray and the chance for Onana. They're just huge opportunities that you have to take in a game like this. You have to take them. Neither player looked ever in control of the situation. And both put them over the bar. You can argue about bobbles or defenders coming in across you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't wash. They're chances that you have to take. It's as simple as that. And that's where we were first half. Second half, funny enough, I think the Richarlison changed a big part of the game. I think when Richarlison went off, they got an extra man in midfield. It shored them up just a little bit and allowed them to just get it into the front two. And I think what's annoying more than anything is that Pickford's had to make a save from Harry Kane. He's done well, and then he's had to make another one where ultimately all he has to do is keep hold of the ball, and that's the error for me. It's a poor error because he doesn't keep hold of the ball. He lets it slip out of his hands, and then it's, I think, his knees or whatever, and then bobbles out, and Harry Kane takes full advantage of it. And for me, it's not a penalty. It's nowhere near a penalty. I don't think there's any contact. If there is, it's minimum contact. I think Pickford allows the referee to just have no decision to make with his reaction. Probably his reaction was comes down to knowing that it's a penalty. But I don't think it is a penalty. I don't think there's any contact there whatsoever. I've heard people say, "Oh, his head touches him." There's no contact there for me whatsoever. How they haven't gone and looked at that. It's just, it's gone down. The keeper knows he's touched them, and it's a penalty. I don't think that's a penalty. I think if that happens tomorrow when Liverpool play Man City, they'll be debating about it for days and days, whether it's given or it's not given. But because it's Everton, I've said this before, because it's Everton and we are not one of the 6, that there's no debate. It's just, there you go. No issues, no problems. It's a penalty. To me, he's watch it again, right? Watch it again, and I don't listen. People can go, "There's no contact." Watch his leg. Watch the way he throws himself over. Watch the way he does that. The way he does that thing where you push your leg off. It's not a penalty, and this is what annoys me about when you have games like that. Is that there's no inquest into it. It's just, it's a penalty. There's no, he doesn't get any, people can go, there's contact with his head. There's, what? So, hang on. So, Pickford's head must go through Kane's body then? Because watch it again. Pickford's head goes over Barrett and maybe strokes the side of his leg. But if Pickford put it this way, right? If Pickford had made contact with Kane's knee, Pickford's head would have been on the floor holding his neck or holding his head. There is nothing in it at all. Nothing in it. For me, it's not a penalty. It's just not a penalty, and we allow it to be a penalty almost. And as I said, Pickford's reaction is pathetic. He should be absolutely fuming there, and he's not. I think other players should be fuming. They should be dragging the referee over to the VAR. Is Pickford making a mistake? Yes, Pickford made a mistake. That doesn't mean it's a penalty. That does not mean it's a penalty. Pickford makes a massive mistake by letting that ball drop out of his hands, and he should getting criticised for that. But that doesn't mean it's a penalty. I've seen people on Twitter, well, it doesn't matter because he made the mistake. So what? People make mistakes all the time. And it doesn't mean that it's a penalty. We've seen one in the first half where Son throws himself over and no yellow card for a dive. Watch it again, and it's not a penalty. It doesn't matter what anyone says to me. It is not a penalty. There is not enough. Ask yourself, if that's contact, ask yourself what kind of contact is needed then. Because when we played Spurs last season, Richarlison goes down under similar contact, and the referee goes to VAR, and it's not a penalty. Ask yourself what it would take to get a grown man on the floor. Because if you think that's enough to put a grown man on the floor, then we might as well stop playing footy then. Because if that's enough to put a grown man on the floor, then the game's dead, isn't it? It's absolutely dead. So that's never a penalty. It's never ever a penalty, and I couldn't care less who says it is. You're wrong, because it's just not a penalty. That opened up the game, and that was it. That was the game over, because our game plan was out the window, and that's got to be a bigger issue. That's got to be a bigger thing as we go forward. The game plan. The game plan couldn't have been today to just try and get a 0-0 out of the game. That can't be the game plan. We need to have more than that. We need to have more than that going forward. We have to. It's a tough place to go. We know that. But that can't just be our game plan. And I suppose Frank Lampard will say, well, hang on, we defended really well and we had two clear chances in the first half. And he's right. But we haven't had a shot on target. And in the second half, we never had anything. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin came on and we never had anything. We've got to have more going forward as things progress. We just have to, because okay, no one will expect us to win today, but we have to have a threat. And otherwise, you are putting a lot of pressure on those games. Those games where we against your Leicesters and your Palaces and Southamptons of the world. We've got to have some kind of way of playing that, even if you defend better. Because don't forget, the two chances we get one was Damari Gray getting in behind and he done really well from a long ball, and the other one was a mistake by their defender, and that's led Onana to get in. There was no real way of playing. Maupay was just not in the game whatsoever. He doesn't suit being one up on his own. He really doesn't. He more suits playing off a centre forward for me and getting the ball into his feet. That has to start changing as we go forward. We have to get a Iwobi more in the game to influence things. I think today, it was like 5 at the back, wasn't it? And it was like, let's see if we can scrape through. Against good sides, they punish you. Man United did it last week because of the players they have up front. And today Spurs punished us. And it mightn't feel like, in a way, we got our rewards for the way we defended. But ultimately, Spurs had a good side and they were going to score at some point. I know the second goal's fortuitous because it's late on in the game and we've pushed all players forward in the Iwobi. It takes a deflection off a Iwobi and stuff. But at the same time, we've got to have a way of playing that gets more out of these players, for me, going forward anyway. So, listen, it's not the end of the world. 2 defeats back-to-back. We go into Newcastle now. We look so much stronger at the back, and that's great. but we have to have something. We have to have something that helps us create opportunities. And hopefully we get Dominic Calvert-Lewin back on the side sooner rather than later. But yeah, listen, we are still a very, very average football team, and Spurs are a good football team, and they punished us today. And you can't just sit in and defend against them. They'll find a way ultimately, and they did. But I think we spent a lot of time trying to get this back line sorted, and that's fine. And obviously, it's not perfect. There's no Patterson in the team, and I personally don't think Mykolenko is the answer. Ultimately, I think we have to get a left back, because for the second goal he was abysmal. I think we need to get a left back who's got a lot more pace. Ultimately, but that's fine for now. But defensively, we're looking a lot better, looking a lot stronger. Cody and Tarkowski are winning, everything in there. But we have to change things at the other end, and I don't know whether that'll change when Dominic Calvert-Lewin comes into the team, and that'll help Anthony Gordon, or that'll help even Dwight McNeil with the crossing. But we just need a different game plan from what we've got at the moment. So it wasn't, it was disappointing. It's always disappointing to lose, isn't it? It's always disappointing to lose a game of football. But a lot of players tonight can hold their heads high, and I say they've worked really hard, and that's the majority of the players. It's just that in the final third, something has to. We have to be better in the final third, ultimately. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Listen, what was it? It wasn't like last season. It wasn't last season we were absolutely shambolic. Tonight we were better. Defensively we were better, but we've just got to find a cutting edge from somewhere. We just have to. And players like, players in the midfield have got to be better. Onana's got to be better to take a chance like that. Gray's got to be better. So it is what it is. And we take it on the chin and we move on to Wednesday's game and Palace next Saturday. They're the games we have to get something out of. They're the games we must take points out of. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll be back shortly to do my player ratings as well. So make sure you join me for them, and also catch Baz's videos as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.